Mic check.
Wow, it's been quite a while since I last recorded. It's been a long time. But anyways, welcome everybody to Truetalks. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jaylin Man, and this is our new co-host,
Darian Pan. Thanks so much, Jaylin. It's a pleasure being here.
Yeah, it's been a long time, but we're back, and we're just gonna start off with some introductions. So I'll just start off with myself and what I've been up to, because even though some of you guys might know me, it's been a while. But anyways, I'm Jaylin Man, a student at Binghamton University, studying computer science. And one of the main reasons why I'm studying computer science is my passion for tech and that whole field. And throughout school, I kind of realized my my drive for problem solving and trying to figure stuff out. And through classes like AP Comp Sci, I kind of realized my passion was there, and that's why I stuck with coding. But some of my other passions include investments, personal growth. I think even just starting up businesses is something that I've been trying to look into more. And some other hobbies include pickleball and piano. But yeah, that's a little bit about me. I think you guys probably know a little bit more from back then. But all right, yeah, we'll go into Darian.
No, Jalen's too humble to say how cracked he is, but this guy is literally the most driven guy I know. If he sets his sight on a goal, there's nothing stopping him from achieving it. I was super inspired when he started making content, when he started putting himself on the internet, because that's a big step. That's being bold. You're putting yourself on line for other people to literally attack your ego, and I think that's huge. But always took inspiration from you, man. So
yeah, appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that.
And I guess a little bit about myself. I'm Darian. I'm a student at Cornell, studying business, not really finance, not into the big corporate, 100-hour work weeks at Goldman, where you have your traditional path going into investment banking and then might exit into private equity, hedge funds, but more interested in the startup space. So really been in tune with meeting a lot of campus creators. I think that's super interesting. Seeing what other people are building. This week, actually, I went to a bunch of Tech Week events because in New York, we're hosting over 1,000 different get-togethers for just investors and meeting tons of super cool people. There were a couple YC-backed startups. There were some big content creators that I've been able to talk with. And that's my interest at the moment. Did a couple internships in VC as well. So the business of business has been really interesting. Also productivity. Yeah. How that started out was I was in COVID and I was just being a bum. I had Google Meets pulled out on the side because all the classes were virtual. And then Avenger Endgame's clip on the other panel. So as any good teenager would do, I was searching out how do I lock in? And then what I came across was all the big YouTubers that do productivity, like Matt Diavella or Thomas Frank. If you know any of them, Jaylin?
Matt Diavella, I knew, and Thomas Frank's a big guy too. So yeah. A couple of them, they put out some good stuff. Yeah,
they really sparked a drive in me. Yeah. And then I came across the whole personal finance sphere of Graham Stephan, Andre Geek, or Meet Kevin, and financial education. Took a couple stock advice from them, maybe not the best decision, but also big on investing. Almost becoming a problem at this point because I'm sports betting. Lost about $60 from the Knicks. It's not too bad, but yeah. I got to draw the limit somewhere. And it's a little bit about me. Also being in the content creation, creator economy. I love filmmaking. Been watching a bunch of movies recently.
Yeah.
Some of the classics, specifically horror. It's kind of contradictory because I never liked horror to begin with. Mm-hmm. But it's just so interesting seeing the sort of back work of it and what the director thinks. The classics like Hereditary or Scorsese or man, what are the other ones? Midsommar. If you watch any of them, Sixth Sense.
Nah. Not really, man.
Yeah, I would not recommend if you want to sleep, but
Damn.
that's where my interests have been.
Yeah. Well, like, I think you're specifically what you've been doing lately. I've been very inspired by, like, what you've been up to.
Nah.
And, like, it's kind of crazy to me how much you've been doing in such a short amount of time. And, like, especially at Cornell, like, all that reaching out you've been doing, you know, that persistent grinding, like, it's something that, you know, I look up to. And then, like, with your content creation stuff, I think this is a great opportunity for you to, like, take that to the next step. And, like, there's just, like, a lot of potential in like, that field for, like, the both of us. But, again, like, I just want to, like, preface this that, like, Darian is not just, like, a random guy. Like, there's a reason why he's going to be our, you know, our future co-host for Truetalks. And, like,
Blazing too much.
the reason is just, like, his work ethic and, like, how much he's, like, willing to put in to reach his goals. And, you know, like, that's not just, like, some, like, average person. And, like, his love for meeting people and, like, just networking with, like, random people and, like, how easy he is to talk to. And, like, he asks the most interesting, in-depth, and, like, personal questions for, like, whoever he talks to, which is something that I think would provide a lot of value for the people we'd be interviewing, and also for you guys as well. It would provide a lot of value. But, yeah, let's, you know, like, yeah, Darian's, like, a great guy. And, like, I think you guys would love, you know, the
Man,
value
you're
he
too
brings
kind.
to the pod. And, like, we both have different perspectives on, you know, some things. So, like, interviewing these guests and everything, like, having both of us interviewing would provide, like, two different kind of perspectives when we're talking. Yeah.
I didn't know this was gonna be a best man speech.
Yeah.
Sounds like you're talking about
nah.
wedding. And
Yeah.
no, I
think,
thought you were
like,
supposed to tear me apart. Like,
nah, bro, I think you definitely deserve this recognition.
Same
And,
goes
like,
back to you, man.
Yeah.
Much love for all the work that you've been putting in Vegas as well. Like, I visited him a couple times, and every time I would be awake like 3 hours after he's been all to his classes. He hit the gym already. He went to a couple club events. He's setting up all like the events at his school. Like, you made a whole film for 200 people to see and made bank from some of the tickets.
Yeah, something like that.
What a project. What a
Yeah.
guy. Starring his main character, in fact.
Dude, yeah.
It's like a Hong Kong movie star.
But honestly, like, I'm very excited for what we have coming up for season 3.
Yeah, what do we have coming up for season 3, actually?
That is a great segue into, what we do have planned. Yeah, why don't you tell, like, the audience a little bit about like, the mission and, like, how we kind of came up with and Truetalks and why we're resuming it again.
Yeah, great question. I think to answer that question, what gives great context is actually how we came up with the name Truetalks. Of course, there's that sentimental value coming from True Tech, so it's just a natural segue.
Of course. Yeah.
But one of the other ideas we actually had was better by design, which I think summarizes the mission pretty well in the sense that we want to deliver practical insights from real conversations on the ground floor level that help people become better intentionally. And what that looks like is just small little improvements. There's this big like theme within productivity about 1% better, made popular by James Clear from Atomic Habits. If you are in like the productivity sphere, you've probably heard it multiple times, but if you're just 1% better a day, at the end of the year you'll be 3,400% better.
Wait, 340.
3,400.
3,400.
Yeah, that's a better way to say it.
Okay.
Yeah, you got me there.
Okay. Uh-huh.
Whereas if you're 1% worse every day, by the end of the year, you'll just be 3% of what you were today.
Yeah.
So if you've listened to this far into the podcast, like, honestly, thank you so much. It means a lot. And what we hope to promise is to provide a platform that tracks our journey and what we've done and found solutions to some of our problems. Because, like, I was really inspired by some other creators, like Ali Abdul. He was a student at Cambridge, and he literally posted how he took his med test, the MCAT, And that really worked really well for him because it was just being authentic. Like,
Yeah.
I want to just provide the same amount of authenticity into the camera. How about you?
For me, like the mission is, like honestly, I also find a lot of joy in talking to a lot of new people, and like just like absorbing like that little piece that they're willing to share with us, and like taking that in and like just like growing as a person. And not only that, but I think growing as a person for me is something is one of the big reasons why I'm resuming this again, but also spreading that to you guys as well, and like providing that value for you guys, like as Darian was saying before, is like one of my biggest missions for this, and like one of my biggest goals for True Talks. But in terms of like the format and what we're doing with that, I think we're definitely gonna be leaning a lot heavier towards interviews and that style of episodes. So I think you guys can expect a lot of different interviews with very interesting people that we have planned. Like that would be the main type of episodes, but we'd also have our other types of episodes in there as well, like just like with me and Darian, just the two of us, just reflecting back on what we've been up to, the stuff that we've been doing, and then also just some random stuff, some goofy stuff
For sure.
to just like
just talking about
fun.
life,
yeah,
know.
of course. Yeah, I think like both styles of episodes would be definitely good for you guys. And yeah,
Just being true to ourselves, true talks.
Yeah.
And touching on that interview portion, that goes way beyond just the narrow scope of, I believe, like tech as it once was,
Right, yeah.
into all these different verticals of people that are self-starters. I think that's a common theme. People that might be just entrepreneurs, founders. I met so many people that have the drive to do whatever their North Star was.
Mm-hmm.
And that could look in the form of like being healthcare professionals, or people building frontier technologies, or like an artisan just being really good at his crafts of making mugs.
Yeah.
Or just people that have ended up in different paths and giving a better perspective of how we grow. And inadvertently, that allows us to grow as better people.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even like the homeless man down the street, like that might be a cool interview.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. Even like for people that like the sector that they're in, like we might not know too much about it. I think like it would still provide a lot of value and would be interesting for us as well, just because of how much passion they have for their craft, and yeah, their willingness to grow, and like that them sharing that piece will like help us do the same as well. So yeah, I'm very excited for those types of episodes.
Yeah. And sort of on that theme of interviews, I'll ask you an interview question, Jaylin. Where have you been for the past 3 years? For True Tech, you left this baby. So then I'm guessing a lot has happened. Why don't you just tell the viewers a little bit about that?
Yeah. I think that's something that I should definitely share. Yeah, so like 3 years, it's definitely been like a long time. And honestly, like the main reason why I took a pause on the pod was just for like self-development and like growing in different areas of my life, which I'm very glad that I gave myself the chance to do, because I found out a lot of other things that I ended up enjoying, and like, just building on my personal relationships as well is something that I focused on when I took a pause on the podcast. And, like just, I think like I stopped at junior year, and like, it got busy with all the APs, the college apps and everything. So I'm glad I did focus on that. But now we're both in college, and I've been up to, a lot of just like academics, some of my hobbies as well, just like living out life, like I think, life is so short, so it's very important to live it out. But now that back in college, and like I have a little bit more time, a little more free time this summer, and like hopefully in the future as well, I wanted to start this up again because of I think the fun that would bring both of us, and like I think just like building a personal platform as well is something that I'm looking forward to doing again. But since it has been 3 years, and then like I recorded True Tech episodes for 2 years, I did learn a lot from those episodes. I think like the most important thing I learned was just like being a solo host was very difficult, in the fact that like being consistent with each episode every single week and making sure that I upload felt almost like a hassle. But you know, having a co-host now would keep us both accountable to record and to upload on a frequent basis, like on a weekly basis, and just like making it engaging, more engaging for like not just for you guys, but also for us as well. Because like we're not just like talking into like the camera or like into the computer, but like it's more so like just having conversation, and then we get to interview interesting people as well.
Yeah, I feel that.
And then like the second thing that I learned was just like talking and being able to be a smoother talker. I think like back then I did struggle a little bit on, you know, public speaking and just having conversations, but throughout the 2 years I did learn how to navigate that a little better, and hopefully I can bring that into season 3. But yeah, you know, that's where I've been, and you know, those are some of the things I've learned, and I hope to bring to season 3 of True Talks.
Love that.
Yeah.
The TLDR for that is Jaylin has been locked in, living out life, making new friends, deepening his relationships with others, and also himself, that personal growth. Going to the gym.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
Like me and Jaylin, we've been longtime gym partners. We actually started junior year summer, going at 5:30 in the morning. We still are. I mean, with an asterisk, like sometimes.
From time to time.
We've been trying. We skipped like the past 2 days, but we'll get back into it.
Yeah, that's
and I think that speaks volumes to your own proactiveness. And going on a little bit of a tangent, one of the names that we also thought about was like forward deployed.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, which is, if you don't know, was a term created by Palantir. Love the company. They basically do a lot of GovTech and software building work. Like their whole mission is to solve the world's hardest problems. And it goes well with Jaylin's point about doing interesting things, because life is so short.
Life is very short.
Yeah, in the grand scheme of the cosmos, if you're just like a little dot, why not spend it doing the most interesting things? I think that was like a poignant turning point. What is that like ancient Chinese philosophers say? You have 2 lives, and the second one begins when you realize you only have one.
Yeah, that's a great one.
That's deep.
Also, like another fact, sorry to interrupt, but like Darian has like the craziest and most interesting quotes. I think that's also a very important thing to know about Darian. And like you guys will definitely like see that more throughout some of the episodes. But yeah, you could go back to that quote.
You're too kind. One thing you should know about Jaylin is that he also drops the biggest bangers. I remember one night I was on the phone and he just kept on going, and I had to pull out my notes app just to keep track of like the things he was saying. I have literally a notes called like Jaylin quotes.
Wow, yeah, bro.
Yeah.
You know, like, thank you, bro.
Jaylin 2024.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that.
For sure.
Yeah.
And about forward deployed.
Yeah.
The whole concept of being a forward deployed engineer at Palantir is going to the site of the customer that you're working with. Say it's like a commercial company like Boeing, and you live with them for a week before you even build anything, just seeing how they operate on the day-to-day. So you're on site, you're observing them, and then you build the solutions. So you're at the most proactive level, ground zero, literally, learning from them and being on site. And that's similar to what we're trying to encapsulate, going to all these different places and on a low level, understand how the people are, trying to expand our worldviews and our viewers in the process.
Yeah.
So that's also part of our mission that drives me as well.
Yeah. I think, you know, we do have a lot of good incentives for like starting this up again, which is why I see this continuing for, you know, like long term. But some other things that would be different are the types of platforms that we're posting on. So it won't be like how I recorded in the past with just, you know, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all the other podcasting platforms. We are looking to expand on that and provide value in different areas as well, in terms of like short form content like TikTok and Instagram Reels, which we'd be posting on more frequently. So we'll like drop the what is it, the at the at later on in the episode, but you know, also you guys can see that in the bio of you know, wherever you're watching this,
YouTube,
so yeah,
Apple Podcasts,
TikTok. We're starting it up on TikTok, Insta Reels,
yes,
YouTube Shorts, and also the whole episode will be on YouTube as well, since we are now doing video. So you guys can actually see us in video right now. Like, you can see how sexy Darian's looking right now. But
bro,
yeah, on YouTube, yeah.
You can't just say that.
But yeah, I think like also for the short form content, for the viewers or listeners that don't have time to listen to the full episode, listening or just like watching on Instagram and TikTok would also really support us and help us out as well, and help you guys out because of the most interesting parts of each episode that we're clipping out, and then we're gonna put that on Instagram and TikTok to provide like that little, I guess, added value that you guys can take throughout your day. So those are some of the reasons why we decided to expand on that as well.
Yeah, and one thing I do want to emphasize is please do not hesitate to reach out.
Yeah.
We love meeting new people. So if you want to talk to us, we're open on Insta. You can literally message us or leave a comment. If you know anyone interesting, would love to meet them as well. We're always looking for ways to connect with others, and Jaylin's like a D1 LinkedIn warrior.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I think that's
those 500
you,
plus.
Wait, no. That's you, bro. You're the 500 plus guy.
Nah.
Yeah, but yeah, don't hesitate to reach out at all. And not only for, you know, just like asking to be interviewed, but, you know, just if you have any kind of tips or advice or suggestions you have for the podcast, just let us know, and we'll see, you know, we'll hear you guys out, and if we see like, you know, that piece of advice would help us out, we'd implement that in our episodes. But
For
yeah,
sure.
Yeah, I think we basically covered we touched base on most of the stuff. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I think we did a pretty good job, Jaylin.
Yeah,
I just want to thank you guys again if you made it this far.
Yeah, I think like, yeah, it's been like 3 years, and if you guys are hopping back on and listening to Truetalks again, you know, thank you guys so much for the support. And you know, I'm really looking forward to season 3 and like what's to come. And I don't know about you though, but like,
yeah, I'm
excited.
super stoked.
Yeah,
like this whole thing is also experimental. Like we don't really have a set goal in mind, because I feel like when you set expectations, you're oftentimes going to get let down. So the way I think about it is a lot more systems and just having one input based goal on a set timeline. And for us, that looks like posting in the morning. You could expect it like 6 a.m. on Wednesdays.
Right.
To get your week started. And we want to see how far we could take this. So this just starts off as a project. Next week, we actually have one dropping with this self-starter. She owns a store.
Yeah.
I won't mention it yet. Keep the suspense.
Yeah. Of course.
But he started a business in the past and was super kind when we first met him.
Yeah.
You want to actually explain how you met him? Because this is your guy.
That is true. So it was quite the funny story how we were able to land this first guy. I do have a sales/marketing internship where I am selling like Verizon. So, you know, going up to different businesses and just like talking to business owners, I was able to like talk to this guy and found out, you know, he's a very interesting guy, and he had a lot of experience in the past with working with businesses, like his own businesses and startups. And he was very knowledgeable on the sector he's in, and he is willing to share a lot about what he knows. And I think like that would be a great start to season 3.
Hell yeah, stay tuned.
Yeah, stay tuned and, look forward to the first interview for season 3, which would be coming out real soon. So just stay tuned.
And thanks for listening.
Yeah, thank you so much for the support, and thank you for listening on whatever platform you guys are on.
See you guys next week.
Peace out.
Bye-bye.